Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. I'm Chris Lambert, part of our customer success team at Cloud Direct, and with me is my colleague Steve Miller, who's our partner account manager.
Hello and welcome. The idea behind this webinar on how to build a business continuity plan you can depend on is to stop business continuity issues from holding back smaller organisations from business growth. Whether your office is hit by flooding, a colleague gets their laptop stolen on the train, or an email virus brings down your IT systems. If you've read our blogs, you may have heard a rather grim statistic from Gartner, the global technology analysts. Their research shows that 2 out of every 5 organisations that experiences a disaster goes out of business within 5 years. We want to make sure that you're in the successful 3 out of 5. Over the next 25-30 minutes, we'll show you how we can improve your business resilience by building a really strong business continuity and disaster recovery plan. One that's well thought out, well supported by your business and well tested. It will help you anticipate, prevent, mitigate and recover from unplanned events. And we've written up key action points on this webinar so you know exactly what you need to do to get your plan off the ground.
So, today we're going to look at 4 key areas that will help toughen your business. The first are 7 crucial areas you need to focus on to keep your business in business. We'll also touch on the question of how you get management buy-in, and that's for your business continuity plan or policy. Obviously, it can be a challenge for a business leader to get the key people behind a business continuity plan, so we've got some advice that should help with that. We'll then look at why and how you should test your business continuity plan. Obviously, that's absolutely fundamental, but it's where many organizations drop the ball. And then finally, we'll look at why cloud-based business continuity and disaster recovery services are faster, cheaper, and more secure than traditional solutions. So let's kick off with the 7 crucial areas you need to focus on when you're planning your disaster recovery response. And please, if you have any questions along the way, fire them into the GoToWebinar question box, and we'll answer them at the end, or by email if we run out of time.
Okay, so the 7 crucial areas to focus on for keeping your business in business. The first stage in building the more resilient business plan that you're looking for is for you to work out exactly what and who keeps your business running. What keeps it all going, who keeps it all together. Most likely, the answers to that will factor into one or more of the 7 core areas. And these are your clients or customers, your supply chain, cost savings, your staff, IT and telecoms, your sites and facilities, and last but by no means least, your reputation.
So, first is number 1, your customers and clients. They will have certain expectations of your business, obviously. So you need to pinpoint exactly what those expectations are and prove to your clients that you can operate under all circumstances. So at this point, I'd suggest you make sure that your plan mitigates any risk to your client's business, and to check that you've qualified the impact on your business of losing a critical customer or channel.
So next up's the supply chain, and in our tough economic climate, the supply chains, unfortunately, are frequently a major chink in any organisation's armour. You want to make sure that you can work out how they would recover from disruption and where you feature in their priorities. So ask yourself, are you reliant on a supplier providing you with a key service or product? Have you quantified the impact to your business of losing a critical supplier, and how long would it take for you to find an alternative source? Do you know the current financial health of your suppliers as well? Are there any potential cutbacks in their pipeline that might affect your business?
Third up, we have cost cutting. Obviously, you have to be mindful of cost cutting. Your business resiliency can be affected by cost cutting measures such as reducing headcount and investment or selling sites. So as part of your plan, you need to make sure that you understand the potential impact of such initiatives. On a positive note, however, in the UK, you can leverage your business continuity policy to achieve a potential 15% savings on your business insurance premiums. So personally, I recommend the 2 actions here are, firstly, identify how cutbacks could render your business vulnerable, and secondly, ask your insurance company whether they would contribute to the cost of developing your business continuity capability. Ask them if the very fact of having a business continuity plan or policy could reduce the cost of your premiums.
Which leads us on to 4, which is your staff. They play a crucial role in the recovery stage. If you allow for your staff's needs, they can concentrate on keeping you in business when you probably need them the most. So ask yourself these questions. Are your staff contact details up to date, with more than one way of contacting them, and do the staff know what to do if the offices become inaccessible? Do your staff contracts give you the flexibility your business needs in terms of working hours, location, role to deal with a significant disruption? And then there's the unfortunate area of having to let staff go. Have you made sure you've audited their skills, knowledge and access to key systems?
5th on the list, and one of Cloud Direct's specialties, is your IT and telecoms. So, IT and telecoms failure is one of the most frequent disruptions experienced by companies, which is why many organizations invest funds and time to help lessen the impact. So, your business needs to do 3 key things to help here. First up, make sure all critical information is backed up and accessible off-site. If you haven't already, you should consider moving away from a dedicated on-site IT infrastructure. And what I mean by on-site is located on your premise to a hosted or hybrid solution or platform with applications available in the cloud and accessible from anywhere with an internet connection. And then finally, if you and your employees are likely to use a personal mobile device, such as a phone or a laptop, to access the work network and its data, make sure you've considered a bring your own device or BYOD policy. These will help you avoid any further business risks such as malware and customer data loss, and obviously any legal repercussions in the event of compromised customer data.
Moving on now to point 6, which is the impact of a disruption on your sites and facilities. There are many scenarios which could lead to you losing access to your usual place of work. So it's a good idea to have an idea about arrangements and what's in place to move to a temporary site during this disruption. You need to think about another 3 things here. Are there alternative office options for your business? Maybe a reciprocal arrangement with customers or suppliers. If you've made the decision to close down sites or facilities due to the economic downturn, for example, make sure that you've updated your plans to handle any site-based disruptions. Has this been reviewed? It's also a very good idea to establish dialogue with your local emergency services to understand what they can offer and how they're likely to respond in an emergency. Check with your local council for details of local resilience forums. These were set up by the Cabinet Office to improve the UK's ability to absorb, respond to and recover from emergencies.
Absolutely. And then last in this section, but by no means least, is how you handle and protect your organisation's reputation during a disaster. Essentially, just think of all the time and money you've already invested in developing your reputation and how quickly a good disaster could blow that all away. So in this one, obviously, again, 3 key questions. Have you considered all the scenarios where negative stories could emerge in the media and on social networks, for example? Have you prepared your messages for these scenarios and identified your various stakeholders and audiences that you need to communicate these messages to? And are your spokespeople trained to deal with the media? So,
those are the areas, the key areas that you need to focus on, not necessarily exhaustive, but the central ones, when you're planning with your disaster recovery response team. The second of today's 4 topics is how to get management buy-in for your business continuity plan. And this sometimes isn't easy, which is surprising when you consider the constant stream of disasters all over the news. But securing senior management support doesn't have to be a struggle. So some tips on how to help you highlight to management the importance of a business continuity plan are, firstly, establish your credibility to get them on side. Show that you understand the importance of aligning business continuity with governance, risk and compliance activities, since these are also the responsibility of senior management. Show that you understand exactly how the business operates, the risks it faces, the vulnerabilities that exist, both internally and externally, and your organisation's fundamental strengths and weaknesses. And also make sure that the management team understands the risks as well as the potential remedies. Once they accept these, they should be better prepared to approve investments in business continuity and disaster recovery activities. So to show your effort and the financial investment that you're adding to the ongoing value of your business can be an extremely important aspect. Work out the cost to your business for every hour lost through downtime. It's always a sobering moment, but one that highlights the business value of instigating DR measures, which helps with budgetary approval. Communicating this whilst nurturing the relationships with management will do wonders to get them on your side.
Absolutely. However, the only way your plan will ever work is if you test it. You need to test it with regular exercises and update your plans in light of your experiences, which brings us on to our third topic, how creating a disaster can prevent one. So, choosing the right type of exercise is obviously important to make sure you're effectively testing your responses. There are three main types of exercise, all supported by local government agencies, and these are as follows. Number one, seminar exercises. These are generally low-cost activities designed to inform participants about the organisation and the procedures for responding to an incident. These events may take the form of lectures or panel discussions and should focus on one particular aspect of the response. The emphasis of this type of exercise is on problem identification and solution finding rather than decision making. Where possible, have contingencies and processes for a wide range of circumstances. For example, what should you do if you have a power outage, or if your place of work is rendered inaccessible through flooding, or if you experience a telecoms outage. The output of such exercises should be a set of pre-canned responses and should be natural reflexes to the issues facing the business. Next up, we have tabletop exercises. Now, tabletop exercises are a cost-effective and efficient method of testing plans, procedures, and people. They give employees the opportunity to interact with and understand the roles and responsibilities of the other people taking part. They can engage players imaginatively and generate high levels of realism, and participants get to know the people they are likely to be working with in responding to an emergency. Some of you may have already seen our business continuity policy template, and this suggests that you should appoint a BC authority or authorities within critical business functions and give them the responsibility of coordinating your business response. This will create a far more effective team than one that comes together for the first time at the point of an actual disaster. And then finally, live exercises. So obviously the third type of exercise being the live exercise. These can range from a small-scale test of one aspect of the response, like evacuation, for example, through to a full-scale test of the whole response to an incident. Live exercises provide the best means of actually confirming the satisfactory operation of emergency communications, and obviously this type of exercise provides the only means for really fully testing the crucial arrangements for handling the media and other stakeholders. Essentially, when it comes to IT testing, this should be done on a more frequent basis, and that's simply because IT systems change more frequently. So unknown variables can arise overnight, for example. Familiarity with your BC procedures should be ingrained, and obviously this will come with regular live testing.
But whatever type of exercise is chosen, it's important to evaluate it. So hold a short debrief at the end of the exercise or soon after to allow participants to feedback their views on how well the exercise went and how you can improve your response plans. Write up a report of the outcomes of this debrief, outlining the exercise successes and the suggested improvements. You might need to review your plans in light of the outcomes of your exercise. So make sure that you keep a record of amendments made to your plan and keep copies of the different versions. In the event of a disaster, previous exercise reports demonstrate to your customers and stakeholders, and in any subsequent formal inquiry, perhaps for audit purposes, the commitment of your business to the safety of your people and surroundings. So, finally, let's now look at the
fourth topic on the board, which is why cloud-based business continuity and disaster recovery beats traditional recovery solutions. Well, number one, the cloud is much faster. It reduces recovery times from hours or days to just minutes, and this significantly limits business downtime. And the longer you're unable to operate, the more damaging it is for your business, both financially and obviously for your reputation. Number two, the cloud is also much more reliable. It reduces the risk of data loss or the inability to recover operations because of human error. Point 3, it also eliminates many of the complex manual steps that a traditional recovery solution requires. So this allows your business to recover servers, data, and applications far more quickly. Point 4, the cloud makes the most of your financial investment. So you don't need to pay for your own hardware just for it to sit idle. And cloud solutions are easily scalable, so you can expand or contract recovery capabilities on demand, and obviously without having to pay for services that you don't need. This is a huge benefit to SMBs. 5th, remote access to backed up data means that you no longer have to physically transfer tapes to off-site standby sites. With cloud computing, you can begin to restore data faster, shortening those recovery times. And then finally, number 6, because you don't need to make a massive investment in hardware or in-house specialized recovery knowledge, cloud services put SMBs in a better position to adopt a solution that otherwise would be beyond their reach. So not only do cloud solutions require less financial and resourcing investment, they also enable SMBs to achieve the same type of recovery times, recovery points, and security levels as large enterprises.
That's exactly it, Chris. With a cloud service, so long as you have access to the internet, whether that's via a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, you can maintain communications and proceed with business as usual. Your telephone, email, internet connection, power, data, and servers are all under control. You have a resilient IT infrastructure, means whatever and whenever disaster strikes, you're ahead of the game, and the faster you can get your business back in business, the less your reputation and finances suffer. So basically, you can run your entire office from the cloud. It supports your phones with hosted telephony. All your settings, call routing, apps and configurations are saved remotely in the cloud. So you can still access and manage your phone system from any location with an internet connection. Unlike the early days of VoIP, when users could only access a VoIP network from a computer, today you can access it from any mobile device with an internet connection. The same goes for your email and your calendar. For example, with the Microsoft Office 365 suite of cloud solutions, you can access your email, your calendar, and your contacts from any device. You can even conference or collaborate on files with your teams in real time, regardless of their physical location. The cloud can also provide resilience to your internet connection with failover that ensures that if your primary connection fails, for whatever reason, you will maintain a seamless connectivity, ensuring business as usual, even wirelessly with 3G or 4G. And when it comes to protecting your apps, databases and file data, a good cloud-based backup service will provide you with continuous protection and high availability. So cloud business continuity services for your servers and infrastructure will save you the expense of paying for dedicated standby machines and avoid the unreliability of and availability of DR sites shared with others. So what if everyone's affected by the same disaster? You need to make sure that you aren't. A cloud service gives you the best of both worlds. So a good server disaster recovery solution will be updated, tested and stored every day. You should get restored in minutes, not hours or days. And because you don't need your own dedicated hardware, software or support, you can expect a fast recovery point for a fraction of the cost of traditional approaches.
Okay, well that about sums up everything we wanted to cover off in this session. So obviously don't hesitate to get in touch. The question form is now open. If you've got any questions, queries, problems, anything you want to ask us, obviously we're open to do that. I mean, in terms of our own experience at the moment, I think one of the most popular things that happens in the cloud environment at the moment is actually this kind of this idea of remote access and how you can access your files and documents from anywhere. That's just from a convenience point of having people working remotely from home or on site. We have field sales agents, and everybody wants to essentially be able to be in the office without being in the office. Now, obviously, that falls in line with, first and foremost, the business continuity plan from BYOD, so bring your own device. A lot of people are going to be wanting to access their documents via their own things. It doesn't mean that you don't have to essentially provide these field agents and such with their own devices, but you need to make sure that if they are using their own devices, they're safe and secure. And also that if you do have an application such as we have something called CloudDirect ABC, which stands for Access, Backup and Collaboration, yes, it gives you the ability to remotely access your documents from anywhere, but at the back end of it, it's also backing up your data off-site, it's secure, it's compliant, and it makes sure that your data is safe. And that's essentially what it's all about, is making sure that you're always covered.
Yeah, and by removing the reliance on a physical location, you're making sure that all your eggs aren't in one basket. You can move all of your infrastructure into the cloud, and through services like the ones that we offer, including the support that we offer, you're moving the entire infrastructure and support out. So it's not just the case if you can still access your systems, you can still come to us for the support that you need to keep those systems running as you would were you working from the office.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's very, very good to stress the support element of it. I mean, Steve's obviously a partner account manager and works with a lot of partners. If there are any partners or prospective partners out there listening to this, he'll be your direct point of contact. I run something called the customer success team, and my job is essentially to provide you with the support that you require as the business. The last thing you want if you go down and you do experience a disaster is to make sure that you've actually got a point of contact where someone will respond to you. That's what you need, and that's what we're here to do, essentially. But it all ties in to make sure that essentially the bottom line is we want you to be one of these 3 in 5 businesses that if a disaster happens, you do not suffer.
Yeah, so we have got obviously solutions in these areas. We've got actually increasing amount of interest in the disaster recovery platform side of things. People are becoming more regulated. They're realising that they can make savings on the insurance side of things, making sure they stay compliant. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to get in touch. I'll happily talk to anyone, partner or not, but just going through the thought processes and the planning stage and how to either speak to your own customers or address your own disaster recovery and business continuity needs, put something well structured and long-term in place, and then Chris's team would be working with you afterwards to ensure that that's continuing to be maintained. So you're going through the stuff like we mentioned regarding implementing testing. We can talk to you about, are you doing the right things to make the most of your business continuity plan?
Okay, so that's all we've got time for now. Obviously, don't hesitate to get in touch if you'd like to send us your business continuity plan template, or if you've got any questions. We'll be emailing you a BCDR plan guide based on today's session. It lists obviously the associated actions you should take, so it's quite useful. Alternatively, if you want to speak to either myself or Steve, you can contact us on our number, which is 0800 0789 437. It's up there on the screen. Or alternatively, you can email me at success@clouddirect.net. So that's success@clouddirect.net, or alternatively, steve.miller@clouddirect.net. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in today, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thanks for coming along.